Mm.
Well, good evening. You just caught us slagging everybody off, mate. We were actually talking about you lot.
There's nobody
How
there.
wonderful you are.
Nobody there.
I
You're
know. I
alive.
know. There's nobody there. Nobody likes us.
It's you they don't like, Dan.
It probably is me. They see like they got a whiff that I'm on it and decided not to come on.
Well, I haven't got a phone. It's completely deaded. It's more than deaded. It's deaded on top of deaded.
Well, I broke it, did?
Well, no, it ran out of charge in my handbag. I didn't charge it last
folding
night.
screen, nice one.
Yeah, it's out of charge. And then once it goes so flat, it takes a long time.
Oh, yeah, they always take a while to get back to the point, and they can start recharging properly.
So I've got to wait.
It's a very nice phone. A very, very, very nice phone.
It's I designed the t-shirts for the competition winners on it. So Eric's t-shirt's coming. And the two girls get their t-shirts. But there are some lovely mugs coming for the runners-up.
So I believe.
Yes.
And we've got somebody in the chat already. Hello, that person in the chat. We don't know who you are, not until you put your name down in the actual comments section and give us a wave, hello, be it metaphorical, and we will give you a proper wave back.
I'll just wave to you anyway, whoever you are.
Yes, we'll go along. We'll just give you a wave anyway.
I think it's...
So just to note that we're sort of broadcasting loud and clear. You don't have to say anything. You just put a thumbs up, anything you want to do. So there you go. Eric's put his thumbs up for you.
I love that picture. That smile of Eric's, it's like he's done something naughty.
Always.
He probably has, though, Eric.
I'm always naughty.
Are you? When Rita comes over here, I'll go take her to the National Horse Racing Museum. Maybe she could buy
that.
Well, she could buy a crop and just
whip
Eric with it. Just whip Eric with it.
Keep him in line. Keep him in line. Hello, Rita. Good old Rita. Hello, Rita.
Hi, Rita.
There's two now. There's two there in the chat. The first one's a little bit shy to come on and say hello. That's all right.
I want to get this.
Mary.
I will message you, Mary. I will message you.
I will too, Mary. I don't know why, but I will.
Yeah, we're going to get her on a show.
That'd be great.
Her own show.
That'd be nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
That'd be great.
Wait. Meow, 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 meow. Cat's out the bag.
No, he's actually downstairs. He's dying on the carpet.
I'm not surprised in this heat. He must be terrible with a big fur coat.
Well, he's got a big he's got a massive industrial fan blowing on him.
He needs it in this weather. They all do poor little things, don't they? Bless them.
I got central air, so.
Oh, that's
get you, Mr. Flash.
Mind you, where he comes from, you're going to need it, I should imagine.
Yeah. Can I just say, before we go any further, I need to give a shout out and send condolences and big hugs to Kerry Greenaway because she lost her dog this week. And it's she's had the dog for a long time, big part of the family. And, you know, like anybody else out there that has a pet, that loses a pet, sometimes it is worse than losing members of your own family.
Definitely, it is.
So anyone that is going through that process or grieving for a pet, I just wanted to sort of just say to you that my thoughts are with you, but what you must always remember is you will see each other again at some point.
Definitely.
That pet will always be with you forever.
Definitely.
Okay, that's how you got to see it. You just got to go through the grieving processes. But especially to Kerry, I just want to give you a great big hug right now and say nothing else because, you know, I think the hugs are enough.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, lots of love and big hug to you, Kerry. And indeed, like Viv says, lots of love and big hug to anybody who's lost a pet. Not just recently, but over the years, because it's one of those things that stays with you forever.
It does.
You know, you never ever forget. And because it's kind of it's unadulterated love, isn't it? It's pure love, isn't it? So
And you know what, Dan? I think the best present you could give your pet, no matter how big or how small it is, you're there with it throughout its lifetime. When it comes to the death, please, please, please do not take your pets to the vet and go. Stay with them till the very end. It doesn't matter how hard it is for you. It's not you going through it, it's your pet.
Yeah.
And the biggest gift you could give them is being there at the very end, holding a paw or putting a finger on or whatever, right until the very end, so they know that they've got your love, right up to the end.
Definitely. There's nothing as bad as leaving an animal at a vet's and going away. And I know I'm not condemning people that do it, because obviously your heart's tearing out of you and you live on your own, and that's your only. I can kind of understand. But yeah, it's amazing how much relief they find when there's somebody with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the same as us, isn't it? We don't really want to go on our own when time comes,
I think it'll be a hard time when I have to say goodbye to John, and well, it will be hard. But then I'm going to get him stuffed. Honestly.
Well, that's what I told Rita, but she said no.
No, well, he can get in the coffin with me when it's my turn.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll have my stuffed John with me.
There's nothing wrong with that.
If I can find someone that could do it, I would.
That's finding somebody to do it.
I would much rather go to my final resting place with animals than people.
Yeah.
It's funny. It says a lot, doesn't it?
It's a funny old world we live in, though, isn't it?
Oh,
it certainly is. And to be honest with you, it confuses me. And anybody who thinks that they've got an idea or a handle on it, no, they haven't. We're all guessing and taking stabs at, ideas and theories and thoughts and different things. But at the end of the day, we don't know.
No. The ancient Vikings, some of the warriors or the warrior kings, didn't they go to their grave with their horses? Hello, Mr. Southey.
Yeah, they did. A lot of the Chinese emperors did as well, didn't they? They went to the. I think the Egyptians did. They went to the pharaohs and that went to the graves with their.
Yeah, they took all their servants with them.
Their servants with them, didn't they, and stuff? Yeah. But then the servants saw it as they saw it as an honour, didn't they, to be going the afterlife with them.
Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
It's a very interesting subject.
Yeah.
Very interesting. When you think that it's like cultures from no matter where you go from the planet, even the most untouched, unfettered culture in the middle of nowhere, when you start talking to them, you find that a lot of their beliefs run parallel to what our beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
It's very odd, isn't it? About a spirit world and about how people move on. Might be different little bits and bobs, but over the end, it all tends to marry up, which I find intriguing.
Well, most religions say the same thing: be nice to and kind to each other. So,
yeah, it's not. You know what? My dad used to have an old adage: the best thing you can be in this world is decent.
Yeah,
and just be nice to people. And at the end of the day, let the world then take care of itself.
They're Wayne Seedon.
Hello, Mr. Seedon. Wayne, I need to speak to you and Mark at some point.
Yep.
I haven't forgotten you. I need to speak to both of you together.
Together.
Because we want to go in the garden.
Garden. Do you remember that? Together. We want to be together.
Oh my God, right. I just picked up this book to start getting some ideas for little rabbit holes that we could go down in. It's called The Anthology of Fantasy and the Supernatural. Okay, and I just opened this up, just at a random page. And guess what it's talking about?
Animals in the afterlife?
The Wrath of a Tiger. That's one for you, Dan.
That is one for me. I've felt the wrath of a tiger. No, I won't feel it again, thanks.
Seriously, do you think that they are like... I don't think they're as angry as lions are, but they're very sneaky, aren't they? Tigers, are they?
The thing I found with lions, I've worked with both of them over the years in very close proximity, like working in with them. And the thing I found with lions is lions tend to be the male lions, and a lot of women are going to say, well, that's right the way across the species. Male lions tend to be a little bit thick, a little bit dopey, a little bit, oh, hello, I like you, I do, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And with the female lions are pretty switched on. They're clued up. Same with tigers. Male tigers tend to be, the male ones that I've come across tend to be a little bit, oh, it's you, is it? All right, how you doing? Female ones, proper switched on.
Worse than a lioness, do you think?
I spend more time with tigers than lions, so I would say, yeah, tigers are very. There was one I worked with years ago, and she was a big girl. She was a Bengali, gorgeous, absolutely stunning, and she wasn't wild caught, but she.
You know why? You know why?
Indian.
Because she's Indian.
Indian,
She's from
yeah.
India. Sorry.
And what she used to do is when you let them out, you count them out and then you count them in. And if you don't, what she used to tend to do is try and hide behind the straw inside the enclosures. When you locked it and went in, if you saw a stripy paw sticking out, you knew she was still in there. So she would do things like that. But she also what she'd do is, if you weren't watching, she'd get her paw from the two different enclosures. So the enclosure, you've got to be inside, but it's split into two parts. Keep her one side while you clean out the other. Then you pull the door, let her across, close it, and then put the pin in, clean the other bit out. But she got clever. She got to suss the idea of, if you waited there and pretended to be asleep by the edge, while you were cleaning out, if you were backing up to her end, she'd get a paw underneath the thing and try and pull your leg in. And I looked down one day and I thought, what the hell's that? And I looked at a big stripy paw, and it just had hold of my leg. And I looked behind, oh, you bitch. And she's looking at me going, trying to get me through the fence.
Why didn't you feed her? She was hungry. She
was always hungry. She's gorgeous cat. I mean, she was your archetypal. If you ever had like a pin-up cat, she was it. She was so beautiful, like gorgeous. Like it was like her face was just like magic. It was just, you look at her and you think, you can see how people get drawn in by them.
Yeah.
You know, you can see how people get drawn in by them. But I was lucky because I worked with them for many years, and I was lucky to work with them under the skies of somebody who hand-reared them. So whoever they saw with him, they thought was okay. They were okay with generally. And it was just an accident, and I ended up on the wrong side of it, and that was my career and gone, really.
Right. I've opened up. This is one for you, Eric. Okay. Don't ask me why. It's just where the page fell open. And it fell open where there's just lots of writing. But at the top, it says here, and the spirit that stands by a naked man. Okay. So let's talk about naked spirits or spirits around naked people. You don't get to hear of this very often because I imagine that they'd be embarrassed. But have you ever heard of anything like that before?
Well, I heard somebody recently talk about it on a show, but not really too much here. But if you died naked, you would be naked. I don't know.
Why don't we see more naked spirits? Why are they re-showing themselves wearing clothes, or whether it's, I suppose if it's a playback of time and just replaying that film.
Well, yeah, playing a period, then they would normally just have clothes. I mean, because not most people don't walk around naked, you know.
Yeah, but what about flashers?
Yeah,
like, I mean, they seem to have died a death now, but you still get the odd flasher. Or, you know, people that naturists. Somebody, Wayne said they didn't die on a nudist beach. But some people, like, if you're an intelligent haunting, you really wanted to get somebody's attention, take all your clothes off.
Yeah.
Or is it that some people see them but are too embarrassed to mention it? Because some people are too embarrassed to mention the fact that they saw something. Would they be doubly embarrassed? They said, not only was there a ghost in the room, but he had his knackers hanging out. And with playbacks, what I don't get with playbacks, why does nobody see a playback where somebody's having sex?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, again, you're talking about you got to be wanting to see something like that in order to see it. So.
Well, what about rituals? I mean, like if you go back in time, especially over here in the UK, the pagans would have done rituals. Not all of them had clothing,
Yeah.
so, or we don't even see the ritual itself, but
No.
if we could, why wouldn't we see naked people dancing around the bonfire?
See, that's right. I mean, even in the last 100 years, 150 years, it's particularly with the advent of things like Wiccan and Wicca, that a lot of that's done skyclad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Skyclad meaning no clothing. So if you go back 50 years, 100 years, whatever, say 60 years, at the beginning of roughly when what's his name started it, more or less, why are we not seeing people from that period play back in
Hi, Sean.
naked? Hi, Sean. Why are we not seeing that? What's going on there? I think as for the thing with spirits naked now, I think that a spirit, I don't think when you see a spirit, you're seeing a spirit. I think you're seeing a projection. So what they're doing is I think that they're implanting into your mind so that we act like a receiver.
And we're putting the clothes on.
And we're seeing what they want us to see, which is why people turn around and say, well, it didn't look like him because he was really thin. He was fat when he died. Yeah, but he was thin 30 years ago. So maybe he wants you to see him as he was 30 or 40 years ago. So, to show you that he's doing all right or whatever, I don't know. I don't think that when we see spirits, I don't think that they're there that they're not there in the physical, because whatever the physical is. I think they're there in the ether, but they're there in our minds. Because the mind itself has got no parameters, is it? It doesn't exist. It exists outside of time and space, doesn't it?
Eric, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
I don't understand any of this. Right.
We got
the star weave of Snorgrud Sunbreath. And I think, hang on, let me go back.
Yeah, I've been there, Wayne, a few times.
Right, I think this is talking of trolls.
What's it say?
It's a troll type thing. It looks like a troll there.
What was it you read?
It's a funny name. The Star Weave of Snorgrud Sunbreath.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a fantasy, but I think it's talking about trolls. Trolls. Now, we have that story, the 3 billy goat scruff and the troll under the bridge. In America, you've got trolls. When I say trolls, it's more of the bridge thing again. Like,
it's always
you can't cross the bridge.
Trolls, but it's I can't remember their name.
Goat bridge.
Yeah.
Goat man, that.
Yeah,
would Goat Man come under that, or would he be something entirely different?
What? She's yelling at me. I don't know what she's yelling.
Yeah. But I've heard of it's a crossover between a stone man and the troll that's supposed to be in Scandinavia, Norway, that sort of thing. But these things look like they're part of the rock. But at times they're supposed to leave the rock and become a real thing, a real entity living and moving around. And these things are really quite nasty and to be feared.
Oh, these are the giants they talk about.
Well, that's another thing. But I would put that in the troll category, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would definitely put... I mean, a lot of the stuff that we have, I guess it's the same in America. It's the same that, I mean, a lot of the Europeans that went there, not just Europeans, but a lot of the Europeans, looking at it from a European perspective of myth and legend and folklore, they took a lot of that with them, didn't they, when they went to the New World? So a lot of that got mixed up with other cultures, other stories, and then it sort of blended itself. Because I think irrespective of where the cultures come from, they've all got a parallel story or myth. And it's the same with us. A lot of our stuff, like a lot of our fairy tales and stuff, comes from Germany.
Yeah.
The whole thing about trolls was a German thing, And also, like you say, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, all of those sort of places, Iceland and Finland and all that. There's still a very, very strong element of pagan culture there. I think the biggest religion out there is paganism, and has been forever.
Yeah.
So, and they keep it alive, and maybe that's why they have more experiences out there, because they're more open-minded to it.
So I've just opened another one, and this says "Make me whole." So I want to talk about, on the strength of Make Me Whole, deaths where your body is not whole. So, or when you die, your body is not whole. But in the afterlife or in spirit world, people have seen these people walking, whatever, and their body is whole. For example, Anne Boleyn. Now, she was beheaded. She's been seen with her head off, and she's also been seen with her head on.
Yeah.
How does that happen? What's the theories behind that, do you think?
I think it's the same thing. I think if your body, because I think your body's just a shell, isn't it? It's not really who you are. It's just that, if you like, it's just like a vehicle for carrying your soul around, for carrying the real you around, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that irrespective, once that body gets destroyed in whatever way, you know, whether it be through explosions, whether it be for fire, whatever, and there's nothing left of it, that's nothing to do with that's nothing to do with what happens to your energy.
Do you think because she's supposed to haunt, I'm picking on Anne Boleyn, poor woman, but do you think because she's seen in multiple places, the majority, well, all of them, apart from one, are replays in time, where one of them is the actual intelligent haunting? So that's how she's managing to show up in so many different places, because not all of them
Well,
what they see.
But then I suppose you could look at it from. Sorry, Eric. Go on, mate. Sorry.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you to determine if every single one is an intelligent haunting or a replay. So,
Or is it a case of multi-dimensional? So she's been executed in this one. Has she been executed in others, but not executed in others? And are we seeing people seeing replays at different places that are concurrent with what happened to her in different timelines? I don't know. We don't know how it works, do we?
no, we don't.
We don't know how it works.
But then you have well, this is one's a bit more sinister. So you have the tale of the headless horseman that rides along the Windsor Walk, and he goes from Windsor Castle all the way down Windsor Walk. And apparently, if you was to see him, your body will suffer a massive heart attack from the shock, and you die. But apparently he flies at speed, riding this horse. It's a bit like if you imagine Sleepy Hollow, you know, with the headless horseman type thing, but he's all black. The horse is black.
Ichabod Crane, wasn't it?
Is it Ichabod?
Ichabod Crane.
But apparently he doesn't have his head. He's not carrying his head. There is just no head.
Yeah,
what is that?
It's odd, isn't it? Unless they're trying to give you clues to their identity.
They will even.
You know? But that probably goes so far back in the annals of time that there's probably no information to who he was, or, you know, even if you saw him with a head, you wouldn't even know who he was. It's weird and it's odd.
William loses his head all the time. He says that's a different kind of losing your head.
But it's intriguing. It's intriguing.
But there is the other thing as well, like, and I know the answer, but I see it from a different point of view as a medium. When messages are given to people, and I see the person that comes through in spirit that wants to relay the message. And it's happened to me once. He's tapped on his leg, this gentleman, and said, "Tell her I've got my leg back. I'm a whole person." And I said, that's what he's saying. So I'm only presuming that it was removed at some stage during his lifetime. And she said, yes, it was. He had one leg.
Wow.
And now in the spirit world, he has both of them. So take from it what you will. These are complete strangers that I meet there. You know, and sometimes they don't tell me everything. Sometimes they tell me bits and pieces. But I try not to put my little bit in there, because it's not about me, what I think they're saying. I just say what he's doing, and I say to her, did he lose his leg? And she said yes. It's quite
interesting, that, isn't it? Because I've got a mate, I haven't spoken to him for a few years, but he lost the bottom half of his leg in the first Gulf War. And like a lot of people, he suffered from phantom limb syndrome, where he still felt that his foot was there, and he'd have an itchy foot, but no foot there. You know, he'd have an itchy ankle, no ankle there. And you still get people with that, don't you? About well, you know, they've lost their arm, but they can still feel where their arm was, and they can still feel pain in the fingers, and they can still, because you know, there's different receptors, I guess, going to that part of the body from the brain, and I don't know. It's very odd.
So do you think, like, when we pass over in death, that because they say that the brain's the last thing to go, isn't it? The electricity's still running through the body, even though your organs have shut down. Do you think like that these last impressions are what we take with us, and say you've got that limb with you?
It could be.
I've been hearing
Sorry, on Eric.
I've been hearing a lot that people, when they pass, can choose what age they want to go back. So
yeah,
I guess, yeah. Or I suppose you could just appear or show yourself to somebody, whether it be a medium or the person that you want to see you, who would recognise you at a particular time in your age.
Yeah.
So people I haven't seen since back in the 90s or in their 20s, they probably wouldn't recognise me now, and I wouldn't recognise them. But if they were to appear to me, would they appear to me as I would have remembered them?
Yeah.
You know? And maybe that's the case. Maybe people are not recognising people that they're more personal, a lot of these hauntings, but they're not recognising the people because they don't recognise them, because they don't forecast themselves.
Yeah.
Or show themselves in the modern.
it makes me think back to your story of talking to that guy by yourself, which wasn't really there. Was it somebody maybe in your past?
It could. You know what, Eric? It could have been anything. You're right. It could have been. He may have had nothing whatsoever to do with that building whatsoever. It could have been. I mean, how many people, when people say to me, "Oh, you know what? Not a lot of people talk about paranormal, but I've never had one, and you've never had one, and these have never had, and she's never had one." So, how do you know you haven't?
Yeah,
exactly.
How do you know you haven't? How do you know that guy you were speaking to or that lady you were speaking to wasn't of spirit? You don't know that.
Me and Dan have had personal experiences where Dan had a full-blown conversation with a man about a spirit box going off and how the spirit box worked when this man didn't exist. And Dan swear we had an argument over it, didn't we?
Yeah, because I thought I was arguing with all of you. I thought you were all winding me up. I thought them bastards are winding me up here.
But he's the one that set off the spirit box. He was the one that was doing it, and you anyway.
Telling me, oh no, there's something here, definitely. Yeah, there's something set that off. Well, that's amazing. I'm like, that's amazing. What, you really think so? You think there's something here? There's definitely something here. Didn't realise it was him.
And then I had years and years ago. It was a hot summer's day like this. I was getting ready to go out with my friends. We were all dressed to the nines to go to a pub before we go to a nightclub. It was a Thursday evening. And we all had our little mini skirts on, high heels, makeup, the hair, the usual. And we walked past this man. There was 4 of us. And we walked past this man because 2 of us moved out of the way for him so he could walk past. And I turned around and looked at him, and I just stopped dead. Like, he had a hat on, he had a raincoat on, he had an umbrella on, the collar was up, he pulled his coat around him like he was cold, like the wind was on him or something, and he had a briefcase. And he walked past us, and I looked at him. I thought it was odd because how could you have all those clothes on when you got hot weather like this?
I know.
And that's what made me look at him. And when I was laughing at him, they're saying, "What are you laughing at? That man there that just walked past us. What man? That one." And I can see him walking down the street. There's nobody. He's there. And yet I was the only one that saw him.
I had a mate years ago had a similar thing. He was at a bus stop. We'd finished late. He used to always finish late, 10 o'clock, and he was getting a bus home. And he was over in, we worked over in Muswell Hill, over that way, Crouch End that way. And we both had a long way to go. And the next day he came in and I was talking to him and he was shook up. And I said, "You all right?" He went, "I've not really had much sleep." I went, "Why not?" He went, "You know, when we finished work last night, I went home." He said, "You went your way." Yeah, he said, "I got to the bus stop." Now, I know the bus stop. The bus stop had like a big 10-foot, 12-foot iron fence behind it because the other side of it was an industrial area. But this fence went for a good mile. It was massive. This place was massive. And it circumnavigated this estate. So you couldn't get in. It was all locked up. And he said he was at the bus stop and it was a bit cold. So he stood there. And he said this guy came along and he was talking to this guy about the buses and when he's going to. Guys, yeah, it should be one along soon. Dirty. And he got talking to him about just really friendly. Talking to him about 10 minutes. He went and he turned. A bus come along. As he came, he could see it, and he turned around and got about the buses, and the guy was gone.
Wow.
In a split second. He said a split second. And you could see that it had shaken him. Because even the next day, he looked flushed. He had no sleep. And it was a question that was burning in his mind. I don't know what went on there. And he was not a type of guy for that. You know, I'd never known him to speak before or after that event about spirits or ghosts. But it proper threw him through a loop.
Here's a question. Sean's got a question. It's a good question. If there's nobody there to see a ghost, is it still there?
Good point. Yeah, good point.
I say yes.
I say yes. It's like the tree in the forest. If there's nobody there to hear it fall, does it fall? Does it make a noise? It does, but there's nobody there to hear it. But yeah, no.
Yeah. And does a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah.
Yes, I've had to go looking for that. So yes, I know that for a fact.
And was it
I used to have
stinky?
to collect beer shite. It was dried up stuff, lots of fruit and bits in it.
Oh, that must stink.
It weren't too bad. It was quite dry when I used to do it in the summer, so it was
Not like elephant poo.
There's big enough poos. There's meat in them as well because they're proper like more carnivorous than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Right, should we get back to this rabbit hole thing that we're doing?
Yeah, pick another one.
This is a good book, this.
It's a good book to dip in and out of.
So this one is The Waters of Knowing. So anything that happens around water, in water, around the water's edge or the sea even. So water, we know, is a conductor.
It's
We
a
all
living
know that.
thing, intelligent living thing, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about spirits, even the cryptid thing? The water seems to be the whole life source of the whole lot of it. Even UFO.
I'll be honest with you, let's not beat around the bush here. Water's very magical.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's the life force. It's the life source, not false, but it's the life source of everything. And without water, everything would cease to be, wouldn't it? Nothing would grow, everything would turn to dust, and it would just collapse. So I think, and if you think that the planet is covered in 3/4 water, and it's deeper than we could ever imagine how much water's there, not including just the oceans, but lakes and rivers and ponds and all that type of thing. It's no wonder. I think it's a conductor for paranormal activity, for psychic stuff and all that type of thing. I think it's a conductor for that.
When you think about it, though, Dan, we all come from water.
Yeah. What are we? 3/4 water, aren't we, or something?
Something like
I'm not
that.
sure the actual makeup, but we're quite high, aren't we? What was that, Eric?
You're 95% water.
There you go, 95% water. So that'll give you an idea then, won't it, of everything. And it's the thing with, it's like the whole thing. I was speaking to a friend of mine who's a witch, like a proper witch, and she was saying to me, and I never thought about it, and she was talking about people going mad at the moon and people changing, their personalities changing with the moon. And she said, well, if you think that there's a huge amount of us that's made of water, and the moon is a conductor of water, and it can turn tides and change things, then that's going to act upon us. Mm-hmm. So she said that was due to a lot of this psychotic behaviour that people showed throughout full moons. And
I just thought it was them people being mental, really, and Dan.
It is, isn't it? It is. But it's true though, isn't it? That if the water's a conductor of anything magical and mythical, or anything supernatural and psychic, then you look at the way that the tides change.
Yeah.
And look what happens to the oceans, the drop, and the one in Japan where the tide just comes in, doesn't it, at the move of the moon, and then straight back out again.
Yeah.
It's an amazing conductor.
Sean says,
look.
Yeah, water's one of the best conductors for electricity. Electricity is energy. Spirits, etc., are also energy, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like swimming when a lightning storm is going through. So
yeah,
or stuff like that.
So water as well for hiding. Now I want to talk about the cryptid thing because we know I have a friend that spoke about his encounter with a Bigfoot that jumped into the water. He heard the plop, but there was no disturbance in the water. So the water is a big thing for the Bigfoots, but you also have Nessie, the sea serpents, and there are other mermaids. There are so many that use the water as a way to get away from us lot, really,
And of course,
because we're fucking
UFOs.
horrible. Yeah, and the UFOs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been watching not Paranormal Caught on Camera, but Destination X, and they've been showing a new season of Paranormal Caught on Camera, where a guy literally got a photo of out on sea filmed a mermaid, a proper mermaid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't the RNLI have something like that a little while
Yeah,
back?
the RNLI. It's out there on YouTube. I can't even
It's gone
remember
now,
what it's
Viv.
called. Is it gone?
Gone now.
Well, what they did was it was all to do with mermaids, and they were questioning why the Smithsonian, they had a mermaid in a cabinet that went missing. Then somebody else had captured this mermaid. They were in a little submersible. They were doing some work, like proper engineering work, and they happened to catch these mermaids. And then he questioned, what the hell is this? Then he found some footage that the RNLI had got. They were out on a training program, and they were out in stormy weather battling the seas, and that somebody does film it for training purposes. But this mermaid, literally, you know those rubber dinghy things that they use, they're massive.
Yep.
Got launch in it, yeah.
Yeah, this mermaid literally it jumped over the dinghy and looked right into the camera. You couldn't make this shit up, seriously. And not apart from the man standing behind the camera, he was the only one that was aware that something had happened. It happened so quickly. It's unrefutable. You can't pull that apart. But this particular mermaid, people think that they're beautiful women, long flowing hair. No, they're nothing like that at all. They're quite grotesque looking, really. Sharp teeth, nasty. The one the RNLI took, I think, was a male version of whatever this was.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, they did. They've had a few. They've had a few around the Philippines and stuff as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
But they're all gone now. Those videos are all gone.
This
The ones that
taken.
look credible.
This was taken on a British coastline where the waters are cold and not great. So I don't know what happened with what went missing with the one in America, but they've been seen all over the world, and yet they don't want you to talk about them or mention them. It's just weird.
No,
well, see, and that's the strange thing, because they were talking about, well, space is the last undiscovered thing. And no, our oceans are, because we explored all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't go looking, right? They don't go looking. And why would you not go looking? Why would you stop looking for things? Because you know they're already there, don't you?
Yeah, and I think as well.
You've discovered it already. Why would you go looking for it?
There's new things coming up. You know that, what is that? Something shelf it's called, the deepest known water.
Yes. The shelf drops off into an abyss, doesn't it?
Yeah. But apparently where our oceans have been so they've been a bit feisty, haven't they, lately, our oceans? This shelf, whatever it is, have been chucking up all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing new I would call them creatures, because I don't know what to call them. Never been identified. Mariana Trench, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's been chucking up all sorts of creatures and sea animals and glow in the dark stuff and all sorts of weird and wonderful things that we've never witnessed before. And I think that Mariana Trench will throw up even more.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I mean, look at the squid that they found just a few years ago that took a picture of swimming. I think it was off of Asia.
Yeah.
It's not even seawater as well. I mean, it's looking fresh water. Other day, was it the other week, last week or the week before? It was recently, very recently. Something like 20 or 30 alligators were killed, bitten. All bites out of all of them, dead. One great big heap. And they said, we don't know what's done that. There was nothing that should be in there that could do that. They've got no reason for it. But then they shut that down pretty quick as well, so you can't get any more information on that.
I'd get those skins, make a nice pair of shoes.
Like a hat.
Crocodile skin shoes.
That's what's his name, wasn't it?
Crocodile shoes.
Jimmy Nail.
Yeah. But the water, though, I think is quite an interesting thing to look at, because it's not just the water. You have crystals that form as a result of water, and crystals act as magnifiers, if you like. So, yeah, it's
Caves are all made from water, aren't they? From the power of the water, oceans rolling through them, carving them out over centuries or millennia.
yeah.
So you look at the power. You go into some of these caves and you look at the power that the water must be phenomenal. You couldn't even get your head around it.
No.
I don't know about all wing statement, but I know that NASA did start out exploring the oceans and then all of a sudden went out into space. So
It's got to be a
Yeah,
connection.
no, that's what I said. It's exactly what I said, Wayne, isn't it? I think that the only reason you would stop looking is if you knew what was there.
yep.
You know?
I want to say as well, we talked about the oceans. I just want to mention, if I could investigate anywhere right now, it would be David Oman's house. And not because of the claim of the actress and all the rest of it.
Is it because of the volcanic rock?
It's because of the volcanic rock down in his basement. I find that absolutely
Phenomenal, isn't it?
fascinating. And he said to me that not many people can stay down there very long because they get headaches and then they've got to come up and have a drink and sort themselves out, unless you're Mr. Bagans and then you run out the house crying. But I find that it's got to be some kind of trigger for something. I don't know what. I don't know how that would affect me, but
That's why David's a kooky. Because he lives on top of it, doesn't he? In a nice way, I mean.
We've been invited round to a barbecue, so maybe you never know, David. If you're watching, we're coming. We don't know when, but we'll just turn up on your door. And David, he'll say, "Who the hell are you? Piss off my property," knowing David. Okay.
He's too nice for that, isn't he?
Oh, he's lovely. He is nice.
He's
and
a gentleman.
if you haven't got his book, get on his website, look on, or you can Google it, the Ghosts of Cielo Drive. He'll sign it for you and get one out to you in the post. But yeah, it's a very interesting read.
That's interesting, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
Mm.
Well, it's the same thing with a lot of these whales and that are beaching themselves. People, what's going on there?
I think I know. I think I know.
Go on.
The Earth's magnetic field's shifting.
Yep.
This is the big thing that people are talking about.
And whatever, yeah.
So the magnetic field is shifting, and I think that the whales, sharks, all these sea creatures, dolphins, they all rely on that to be able to migrate, go here, to go and shag old Mrs. Whale over there, and then I've got the girlfriend over there. They can't travel so well, and they end up beaching themselves because of it.
Yeah, it could be that. I know a lot of them put back into the ocean, they then come straight back out again. So I wonder if there's also something going on in there that we don't know about that's paternity, because obviously, like Sean says about the shark was bit, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it makes you wonder what's going on.
It's not just the oceans. I think birds, like, for example, I saw. I could not believe it. I filmed it, but I didn't get it very well because I'm crap at that sort of thing. But I filmed a stork. Storks were they're not extinct, but they're not in the British Isles so much. We don't see them, and now they're coming back. It's like, why? Like, they all stayed in Europe. Now they're coming back over here. It's just a weird thing. Pretty it was.
Weird. It's all weird.
So let's move on to the book again.
Okay.
Right, you'll like this one, Eric. So this is a chapter on the last child of Master Region, but I'm going to talk about ghostly children.
Yeah.
Black-eyed children, green children, yellow children, purple children. Well, I don't care. Just children in general in the paranormal. Not in the paranormal, but that are paranormal.
I don't want to speak about the green ones yet because I've got something coming out about them.
Okay, we won't talk about the green ones. We'll talk about the black-eyed children then.
The black-eyed children, I guess they seen all over the world, but I think the black eyes and or the darker features of the face because it's not manifesting all the way. So
What do you think about the black-eyed
I
children,
don't
Matt?
think they're real.
I think it's all made up just to
I think
scare
it's just
people.
somebody's story.
I
And then
do.
other people have just got out of hand with it because they all sound like urban myths
Yeah.
and urban legends. Not one of them sounds credible to me.
well, that and so you got to understand too that they have discovered that you thinking about something constantly manifests that thing. You know, for cryptid.
Well, haven't I got any money then?
Money.
You haven't manifested it.
I've not manifested it.
You got to think about it constantly.
Piece of paper, burn it on a white candle, and say every night, "Oh, where'd he go?"
Or a 25-year-old nymphomaniac.
Wow.
I think you got excited about the money, Eric. Say again, Eric.
Sorry, Eric. Go on. What are you saying? Sorry.
You gotta write it down what you want, burn it on a white candle, and then think about it every night before you go to bed.
Can't be bothered.
That's why you've got no money.
Can't bother.
But I think as well, like bring it back more to modern day, that drugs also have a lot to play in it. Now, I had to go and have some drops put in my eyes that made my pupils go bing, and I couldn't see. Everything was white for ages. And Andy kept looking at me. He said, "Let me have a look at your eyes." And he kept staring at him. I was like, "Stop staring at me," you know. But having a drink, something like having a few too many shandies, could that?
Well, yeah, any kind of thing that impairs your brain can make you see things.
No, I mean, like physically make your eyes go big and.
Well, yeah, can. You notice that some of the drugs that they talk about, your pupils get larger.
Yeah. That would be funny, having big pupils and just turning up, just knocking on somebody's car door.
You'd look like an anime. You'd look like an anime. Yeah.
Just knock on the door, say, "Can you let me in?"
If I was to do that, somebody go, "Pikachu's at the door."
Hi, Kelly. Oh, thank you very much, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
That's lovely. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Wayne says, and you had a mine, and you had a mine, Viv, although I don't have a basement.
And you have mine, Viv, although I don't have a basement.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. You'll have to come over and investigate here at some point, Wayne. Seriously. Even Dan's seen something at this house.
I have.
Eric's got a big shock coming to him when he stays here.
Oh, no, I love it. I think we should get everybody over there at the same time and do it.
What? Just have a party at my house?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kelly.
Investigate.
See, I want someone to come who doesn't know me, somebody from abroad that's quite credible, stay here, investigate this house and give me a full report at the end of it.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary could stay here.
Mary
she'd pick stuff up as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean,
You could do that, Sean, couldn't you?
Wicked. Whoa. Like that time when we put those clothes on and shit a few
Somebody
people
fell
up
for
in the
it.
dark. Yeah. Right, the children thing, then I suppose like we've not really sort of touched on this. Now,
No.
some people mention no names. Higgins, when he sees a little girl, it's a demon.
Oh, I used to, yeah. It drives me mad. When does he cease to be a demon? It's just a little girl.
It's just a little girl, but she's a demon.
Just a little girl.
Why do people jump on that bandwagon when you see a ghostly child?
Because it's something that they're not used to seeing, and you're like, oh, well, it doesn't look right, so it must be a demon. It doesn't look like a little child, or something doesn't manifest all the way. It's gonna look weird.
But then you have like right. So I'm going to touch on the serial killer thing just briefly.
Go on in.
H.H. Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
He killed his family. He killed his children.
Is he America's first serial killer? Was that him?
No, I don't think it's him.
When was H.H. Holmes? Was he Victorian?
They think he was Jack the Ripper,
but it's not.
but it's not.
Right, okay.
But
They
he
think
murdered.
everybody was Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah, but he murdered his children, and in recent times they picked up bone fragments from a property that they believed was his son. Okay, now they didn't make reference to it because it was a crime show that I was watching.
Yeah.
But imagine that little boy now walking the grounds of that home, right? Because he was murdered quite brutally by someone who was supposed to love and care for him, his own father. It wouldn't surprise me if he walked the grounds of that property, lost, looking for parents, whatever, whether it was a replay of events or to show someone, look, my bones are
William.
scattered here.
That's the one.
Why would somebody then think that that is then a demon? And so many people then jump on that bandwagon.
Well, you're right. I mean, you think of the child mortality rate 100 years ago. It was through the roof.
Exactly.
I think my grandparents had lost a couple of children. You know, one or two. I'm sure it was. Definitely one. And, you know, that was part of the norm then, wasn't it? That was part of the course.
Yeah.
So when does it, you know, going around condemning a child of being a demon when it's nothing more than a spirit, it's a bit reprehensible, isn't it?
It is. It is.
You
And
know?
sometimes you get these crisis things where the child is coming back to say, look, my body's here.
Yeah.
Or look here.
Yeah.
You know, those children that disappear. And
well, even children seen around their grave markers, their headstones around churchyards, aren't there?
yeah.
You know, there's one up near us actually. I did an investigation up there. It was active, this church. And the reason I went there is because the lady was taking her dog out for a walk, and she was a little boy who was about 5.
Yeah.
And where you walk alongside the church, right in the middle of the countryside, the other side of the hedge, there's a field this side with the horses, and there's nothing but the churchyard the other side. And my friend's mum and dad have got their house that's in the grounds of the church. It's private now. And so they had the key to the church because they look after the church as well. And the woman was walking her dog during the day. A little boy went missing, and she couldn't find him, and she was calling for him. Then she heard him call from the churchyard, so she walked back into the churchyard, and she said, now bear in mind, this kid's 5, reading and writing can't really. And she said, what have you been doing? He said, I've been playing with the little boy who lives here. And when she looked at the headstone, it was a child's headstone.
Oh, wow.
So he clearly had it interacting with what it seems like he was interacting with the spirit of that child. When are you going to condemn that child and call it a demon?
Yeah. I know that Sean Cadman, he's I don't know if he's still got it, but he's got some, or I've seen it, that some absolutely fantastic footage of looked like a girl standing next to a gravestone, and then when it's noticed, she sort of disappears around and behind it.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good footage.
I think spirits are probably more often seen in cemeteries and graveyards than people realise.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realise they're spirits because they're not looking for spirits in graveyards.
No.
Because they think, well, they're not going to be here, are they? Well, I think I've got a bit of news for you. I think you'll find that quite a few are.
We know of a dog man that frequents a graveyard.
Yeah, a particular graveyard.
Should we do one more? We've got 4 minutes.
It probably does, Sean. Yeah, sorry, Sean. I was just reading Sean's. Yeah. Children's spirits being demons comes from the Christian belief system. They believe because children are innocent, God takes them into heaven and keeps them by his side. So all these shows jump onto the demon. Yeah. YouTube channel, Viv. Yes, it's on the YouTube channel, Viv, he says.
Yeah, that's a good bit of footage, those. Right, so we got one quick one. Right, it says treason in Zagadar. Treason. So those people that would have committed treason. Let's talk about England. Eric, you've got to get with this quick because you're going to be English soon. Amlish, by the way.
Amlish.
So when treason was committed over here, this is a bad example, but I'm going to go with it because it's in my head. So you take a Scottish person, The English would take a Scottish person. Now, we had a very famous Scottish person that this happened to. So he was hung till he was nearly dead, not quite dead. And then he was laid on a table, and he had his stomach sliced open, his intestines and everything taken out, where you'd still be alive and see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened, Dan? Can you remember the hung, drawn, and quartered? Then
didn't they then burn? They used to what do you call it? They used to
pull the body
take your
apart.
organs out. They used to burn your organs in front of you while you were still living. So they cut your stomach, pull it out while you were still alive. If you survived that long, then set light to it in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would put ropes on each leg.
That's right.
Arms. Horses
hung,
pull
drawn,
you
and quarter,
apart.
wasn't it? Hung, drawn, and quarter.
Pull you apart, and then you were just like thrown away, basically.
Yeah.
Just thrown away.
Yeah,
so that's
they used to throw them in ditches. They didn't even bury them, did they? Give them Christian burials. They threw them in ditches, which is horrible.
So why aren't we seeing ghosts of this sort of thing going on? Because that would have been traumatic. So they say traumatic events are blasted into the ether. Nobody's looking for that. Nobody's saying that. Not even in the history books. I saw a ghost of a man with his guts hanging out. Or
has anybody actually ever seen a replay or of a murder? Actually, see the murder?
I don't think I ever have.
No, I don't think I've heard of it. I've heard of.
I've caught EVP.
Yeah, no, not that. Like actual scene of like a murder, because they say, oh, something went bad here, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a replay of it, but nobody sees. I've never seen nobody say they saw a proper murder.
Yes, there is one at Jamaica Inn when there was that fight in the bar.
Right.
The two guys dueling, and one of them gets
and
stabbed.
You actually see him get killed. They see him get killed, do they?
You see him get stabbed. I don't know if you see him drop, but they tend to go away. But right up until the point of that murder, because it is a murder, isn't it? It's a fight.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't get to see a lot of the gruesome. Not that you want to, but nobody gets to see. Like when you see an accident on the road, I've never heard of somebody go, I went along the road and I saw a guy.
Yes. That where we went to investigate, where the man and his dog walks in front of the car and you run him over.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. You run him over, but I've never seen anybody say, I witnessed a guy get hit by a train.
No.
I never saw this. I've never witnessed a lorry getting hit by a train that broke down, or a car that's broke down on the track, or I never witnessed a car smash up where 3 people got killed. I never saw that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's always I saw the after event, or
I
saw a person who was there. You know, I don't know.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It's odd, isn't it? Nobody's ever come to me and said, yeah, I actually saw this person murder someone. And you think, well, why not? If you're seeing all these other things. And then I think, but then is there some sort of unwritten code or law that you're not supposed to see those things? Which is why, is there some sort of unwritten law or code that spirit can communicate with you one way, but they're not allowed to another?
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's an avenue we could investigate, Dan.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I've often thought of that. Well, why has nobody seen that then? I never see him go under the wheels of a train. I never saw bits of him flying off everywhere. You know?
Yeah, but you might have bits of him flying off everywhere, but you might not actually realise that's part of a person. You might think, oh, God, oh, yeah, that bird was a bit close.
Nobody's seen him. Yeah. That's handy, a new wristwatch.
Right, we've got some exciting news, guys.
Exciting.
For people in the chat. We have a new show starting tomorrow night.
We do. What's that then?
Eric, what's this new show?
It's called The Weird Room. It's with me, Dan, and Tim Smith, right? Yeah.
It is.
3 weirdos together, that's what I say.
It is 3 fucked up people together. You've had my brain.
And are we keeping the subject a surprise, Dan, or?
Yeah, we'll keep that a surprise. I think we'll keep it every evening because you know what nose have. Yeah. Walls have ears.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts tomorrow at what time?
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Excellent. That'll be interesting. So tomorrow, tune in if you can. It's on the Simply Spooky Network tomorrow at 8:00. And we have apologies on Friday. There was supposed to have been a new show starting Friday night. There were trouble with streaming, so we think we've got it now.
But we don't know that they manifest, do we, Sean? We don't know what that is. That was just all supposition.
Ooh, that's another good one. Thank you for saying something like that. I can write down ghost trains.
Oh my God.
Nice.
So yes, he will be back on Friday night at 10:00. So look out for that. He is a medium. He is a Scottish medium, and he will be doing a show tomorrow. It's Friday night at 10:00. There is no more Friday Night Frighteners, I'm afraid, on the Simply Spooky channel. But the boys will be coming back with their new show. So it will be interesting to see when that's going to go forward. But they're in the making stage at this point. And if anybody else out there in the chat, I know Mary has. I've got to contact Mary. Anybody else that wants to come onto the network and do a show, please get in contact. We do have Saturday slots, the first and third Saturday of every month. We have metaphysical insights with William Becker, which is always interesting. And on a Monday night, we have the Dark Mirror Boys. Now, there has been some streaming difficulties as well there. So we think it might have been fixed, but we're not sure. But they are every week at 9:30, I believe they come on. And they sort of talk about all sorts of weird and wonderful things too. So yeah, there's more shows coming. The platform is growing, and we are interested to see in what direction it will go in. So if you would like to host your own show, please get in contact with me. You'll find me on Facebook, or you can send a private message to the network, and we'll get back to you. But yes.
Can I just say that our show tomorrow night is The Weird Room is going to be about all different kinds of subjects that are weird or unusual, not just about paranormal or supernatural and stuff like that. It's going to be about everything in the world that's weird and try and encompass everything that's weird within the world. So, yeah, and even outside the world, possibly, who knows?
Yeah. Wayne, yes, I do need to speak to you about that. So are you around after the show for a quick chat?
That sounds familiar.
Oh,
well, what sounds familiar, Wayne?
Is it ghost train? Oh. Yeah.
No, Wayne, I'm not copying you, mate. I promise you.
No, they're just the three weirdos. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's not a copycat. I didn't even give it a thought, to be honest.
Not the three amigos, but the three weirdos.
There you go. Yes.
But anyway, we're going to bring this to a close. We've been going for an hour. And...
Oh, mate.
You got him thinking now, Wayne. Look at the clock turning in his head.
Honestly, it's not him.
So we'll be back.
I don't need anybody else's ideas. Thanks. I've got my own.
Right. So anyway, Dan will be back tomorrow with Eric, and I will see you on Tuesday on the Things Network, where we are talking about, what are we talking about? Castles.
Night, Sarah.
Good night, Sarah. Have a good evening, my lovely. Hope you all manage to stay cool in this hot weather, and stay safe, and look out for one another, and just have fun whatever you do. All right? You got the boys tomorrow, so they'll keep you all entertained.
Take care, Kelly.
Yep. Good night.
Take care, everyone.
Night, everybody. Night.